Hey guys, welcome back to the stream. So obviously, for today's stream, I'd obviously been planning to do some Aegis League, but unfortunately, due to the fact that the VODs are not quite up yet, I don't quite have access to anything that I can review. And so I was thinking about it, and think a way that I could kind of get past this is kind of by doing it live. But I'm normally not available at that time, which is why I don't think I can do that sort of thing. So yeah, hopefully the vaults can be put up soon, and then I can take a look for everyone, do some reviews. But anyway, since we can't do that, I'm rather going to be going into reviews, right? Again, today we're going to be looking at top laner and an AD carries review. As for the top laner, I'm just taking a look at what games I want to be looking at. Let me see. Any game that stands out to me particularly. Let me check. Okay, I found one. Okay, so it's going to be this one. And yeah, let me just get to the right scene quickly. It's going to be this one here, where it should be. That should be like that. Perfect. Okay. So we're going to be looking at this game right here from No Spectator, right? Just going to take a look at a little bit of the stuff that happened here. So he's obviously playing Jace into the Sion. Now I think Sion's a really good response to the Jace. Just as a general rule of thumb, I think it's a very good response. He obviously, it's hard for Jace to kill him, and then in the side lane, obviously he's just like this massive tank, right? And so I think that's like a reason why I think that the Jace is not so favored into the Sion. I'm not really sure who picked, I don't know who countered who. I really hope No Spectator did not pick the Jace into the Sion, but then again, it is possible, right? But I know he plays Fiora, so it would not make sense for him to pick the Jace knowingly into the Sion. Right, so we're just gonna go into the game now. If I can, yeah, we're gonna go into the game. Perfect. I would just like to ask if you guys can see the game. Just a second. I just want to quickly change the scene again. So if I do this. Can you guys see the game if I do this? It looks like you can. Okay, perfect. So, in this game, No Spectator's Jace. He's going to be the one we're going to be looking at. So we're just going to speed forward a little bit here, just to actually get to the laning phase start. Okay, so speaking about the Jace Sion matchup, right? Obviously, Jace is a range champion, and I think I tell Jace players is that you do not use your melee form in lane unless you have an execute, right? You use it kind of in the same way you'd use a Pyke ultimate, right? So do not use the melee form of Jace to go in, to trade, since I think the only time you ever want to do that is if someone's getting on top of you and you need to create some space, right? Then you obviously go into the melee form, you knock them away, and you walk away, right? You don't want to be trading fully and actually doing the 1v1 as a melee form Jace, right? Obviously you lose the range advantage that you have, and you lose kind of all that strength. And in terms of the lane here, because you're playing a ranged versus a melee matchup, I think you should be Jace should be at the top side of the map here, on the top side of the lane here, like this is perfect, and looking to hit and walk into the bush, right? Just to try and cycle some aggro, right? This is really good from him. I think also you want to try and pick up some wave prior where you can, right? So that Q should ideally be looking to aim at the minions rather than going into space, right? And then yeah, I'm gonna just keep playing this out, right? I think this is really good positioning from No Spectator, right? Obviously you want to keep this Sion away from the minions as much as you possibly can, just to try and deny him some XP. I think here, moving this far back is, again, not necessary, right? I think you want to keep pressure onto the Sion. However, something that I want everyone to think about while watching these games, CS takes priority over trading every single day of the week, right? Getting that guaranteed gold is worth a lot more than hitting a spell or two on the Sion. So for example, this I think not very good. Yes, he does manage to get the E, doesn't get hit by the Q, that's fine. But ideally you don't want to be going melee form unless you have execute onto your opponent, right? Just because it removes the fact that you have that range advantage, and it kind of negates all of that, which is not ideal, right? I think here we're seeing a bit of a worse passage of play, right? From here, I think he should be looking prioritizing hitting this Sion a lot more compared to what he ends up doing, which is he then kind of loses the focus on Sion here and to try and focus heavily on the wave, which I don't think is like really that good, right? Like if we look here, he uses a spell. He's not in a position to harass anymore, so Sion's getting to kind of hit minions for free, right? Like you don't ever want this happening as in this sort of matchup, right? So you want to be moving up here like really far, kind of standing right over here. Just because there's two minions, you don't actually care about walking into a bush anymore because two minions aren't going to hurt you much, right? It's going to do kind of nothing towards you. And obviously if you'd hit like another EQ and he'd hit this one and he'd poked a little bit more, Sion could have maybe been like around here and he could actually be in execute range right now, whereas right now he is just kind of full HP, and I think in a situation like this, because of how badly the wave has kind of crashed here, you want to quickly shove out this wave and base, right? Letting the Sion hit for free here is not very useful. You can't kill Sion anymore, which means you should prioritize using your spells, getting this wave under, basing to come back to lane, either with the TP to hold pressure on Sion, or running back if you want to save TP in case you have a bad trade afterwards, right? So lots you can do here. You do not want to be kind of hitting this slowly. This is really poor from No Spectator, I think. You really want to be hitting this really quickly and then looking to base immediately, right? Like him standing here like this is just grief. It forces him to flash. He should be looking to push out the wave and basing. And now because there's only, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minions here, this isn't a full wave and he's going to struggle to base in time. Because if we look here, the wave is basically gone before he's even managed to base, which is going to force a TP, and it's going to force him to either not trade at all with Sion and give him a free crash, or it's going to force him to fight on the wave and potentially take a bad fight. And if he doesn't kill the Sion, it's doomed. He obviously decides against recalling. I'm not a big fan of this. He has no mana. It's not like he can really impact anything. He's kind of just being held in the lane once again. And that's something top laners really struggle with. It's if you can't have any impact and potential kill threat on your opponent in a lane where you're supposed to be having kill threat and impact, suck it up, cut your losses, base, come back to lane, right? Him being here isn't going to result in a kill, or it really shouldn't result in a kill at all, right? They should just look to back off here, or even just walk up again once he has his W up again. So in 5 seconds he can probably use his W again and push out the wave, right? So it's not like Jace is in a super happy position here. Yes, the wave's coming into him, but another thing about Jace, when you're playing Jace, you never want to be stuck in this side of the lane, unless you know junglers here, right? Unless you know junglers here, this is not bad. But ideally, because Jace is a poke champion, and this works in the bot lane as well, in case anyone's interested, when you're playing with poke champions like Xerath or Brand or Vel'Koz, you always want to be pushing the lane, because if you're pushing the lane, like if we can look here, like let me just stop it here, right? If we stop here, where can Jace position inside this lane, right, to try and get like some sort of kill in the side, right? He either has to position like all the way in the corner here, right, because this is like all his impact. He can't walk up further because then he's tanking minion wave. So pretty much just this little block here, this little square he can stand in, or he can look to stand in this little square over here in the bush. That's all he can stand in. He can't stand anywhere else where he has impact on Sion in a matchup where he has to be having impact and getting Sion low and such, right? Compared to Sion, he can stand in this entire lane. Right, he can stand in this entire space. Like he has so much space to walk around in, and having this much space to walk around in when you're a champion that pokes is just so valuable. Okay, and if you're playing against a champion that pokes, you want to be pushing them into towers. They don't have many angles where they can freely look to harass you. Right, like for example, these are the only places where they can look to harass you. If this was like a Brand as well, right? Yeah, you can kind of walk up here and try and hit you with a spell, but then he breaks his own freeze. Right, so you don't really want to be stuck in a position where you're freezing like this when you're playing poke champions. Yes, I know top laners are going to talk to me about, but freezing is so OP. And yes, while it is correct, I think Jace is a little bit different in the sense that because he's a poke champion more so than any other top laner, right? Potentially like, I don't know, like maybe Quinn as well, potential poke champion. These champions want to be pushing Okay, Quinn especially wants to be pushing so that she can look to mount up and run down. I know I'm not talking specifically about Quinn, but in general, like that's something you can do, right? Mount up, run mid or something in that case. So yeah, I think a bit of a blunder here from No Spectator not basing a bit earlier, and I think that's going to lead to some troubles, right? Because yes, Diana is here now, and if No Spectator commits to something here, he's going to be in a bit of trouble, right? For example, here he's in a little bit of trouble. He doesn't have the flash, but he is going to get out, so that's totally fine. The wave is big though, which means that they really cannot fight here. Poppy is like kind of sprinting it. Like Jace can never impact this anymore. He's no mana, he's no HP, he can never help this, right? So Poppy has to go in alone here, which could potentially lead to some kills, going over to either Diana or the Scion, none of which Poppy is incredibly happy with, right? She almost trades back onto the Scion, and the wave crashes anyway. Poppy's going to die to the Diana, Scion gets an assist, and this is all off the back of No Spectator not basing that little bit earlier. Right, what happened maybe a minute or so ago has resulted in his Poppy dying, him being 0 HP and unable to stay, like he was originally, and this is a case where I would have just said, if you base, this could all have been avoided. Absolutely every part of this would have been avoided. Right, here we see the wave being pushed in, Scion can look to take a plate here, potentially. It is before 5 minutes though, so tower damage is really low, and before 5 minutes I would never recommend hitting the tower. Get the wave in, base, and then, you know, go again afterwards. So the TP does come out. This could potentially be something for the Jace here. If he ignores the wave, he can potentially just look to... well... that's definitely not very good. Okay. I think this is a massive blunder. I think this can never happen. This can absolutely never happen. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, that's a rough one. That's a rough one. I mean, in the end, it's not the worst outcome. Yeah, you miss out on a kill, which is pretty bad, right? But you do come out, you don't really expend mana, you don't really expend health, you kind of just, you know, you just kind of chill out. So I think it's not the worst thing in the world. But yeah, now he's looking to slow push the wave. I think this is fine, right? It's obviously not going to force a TP, which is obviously the problem, right? As we can see, Scion just walks back to lane, so he's used the TP, he hasn't really traded back for anything. His flash is on cooldown too. Here he should be looking to harass Scion as heavily as possible, right? Being melee form here I think is really, really bad. You want to be looking to hit Scion, like, forget about the wave. You have the slow push, the wave is already pushing for you. You don't need to assist it, you don't need to focus on the wave anymore. You just have to focus on last hitting and then using this time to harass. Like, Scion can never be here in the lane when you're playing a slow push, right? Scion has to be standing here because you have such a big wave. He's not level 6. Yes, Jace level 6 is not impactful at all, right? Like, you don't get a massive ultimate spell, right? But if this was another champion, you want to be looking to harass off the slow push rather than, like, hit creeps, right? You have a slow push, you're in a very safe position, okay? In general, like, obviously if you're playing like something crazy weak and you have a slow push, you're just looking to push the wave in, of course. But if you're playing something that has a little bit of strength, playing with the wave like this is probably the strongest point that you have in the game. If you manage to kill the Scion, if Scion trades here and dies, he loses wave. Yes, he still has the TP to pick it up if he does die, but he has to then force his TP, which is exactly what he wants to do here. He hasn't forced it before, which means that No Spectator right now is in a really massive disadvantage. And what I'm going to say about, like, he's looking to trade here after the wave is gone, which means that, like Scion doesn't need to be worried about anything, right? Like, before he has to be worried about, are these minions going to die? Do I want to walk up here and look to hit the minions? Whereas if there's no minions on his side, there's nothing going on the minions. There's no threat on Timeout's minions, or No Spectator's minions, rather, which means that there's no pressure on him to actually, like, walk up and farm them, right? So trading then is really weak. This is where he should be trading, right? I don't know why he's trading in the melee form. If he is going to trade in the melee form, yeah, he needs to hit the E. Okay, like, this is all very good. He can then look to poke a little bit now as well under the tower, right? He has a lot of mana, so he's very welcome to stay here. I would not recommend basing here. I would recommend just looking to push pressure him, especially if you're playing a ranged champion into melee. Even in the bot lane, this matters, right? If they have to farm creeps here, you should be using the time to be hitting them with any spells. Your minions will take care of the tower plates for you, right? So Timeout gets a little bit of trading down on him. He goes melee form. kind of ruins it a bit. If he was ranged form, he like okay. So what I'm gonna say here, J specific. Okay, obviously going into the changing forms gives you movement speed, right? Obviously there it is. That movement speed is never gonna make you escape a point blank Scion ultimate. So just stay in the ranged form, and then look to hit, and then look to hit opponents, right? Maybe he went in there to like change stats, right, or get like armor and magic resist. Maybe, yeah, he does, but I don't think it's worth it to take that little bit of damage. I think you just when you range form and look to trade back some of it as well, right? If he was ranged from there, obviously could have hit him with 2 auto attacks and a Q in the time that he hit him with the ultimate, right? So obviously something to think about as well in that case. I think here you want to be standing in this bush here. You know he doesn't have ultimate, right? We know Sion doesn't have the ultimate. You kind of want to be looking to pressure him really hard over here. You don't want to be giving anything for free, right? Pretend this is chess and these are your pawns. You don't want to give your losing player anything, right? If we look here, like he walks up and he managed to cue the wave. And yes, this is better from no spectator, but look, he gives it up immediately. Like he's kind of like just walking away, right? He doesn't punish really hard for the fact that he's just given up 3 pawns to the Sion in a matchup where Sion's really miserable right now, right? Like he doesn't have the shield right now, doesn't have it for 15 seconds. This should be prime time to be looking to engage really hard onto the Sion. Right, he's prioritizing hitting the minions a lot. I think one thing you have to do here as Jace is you have to try and pick up some wave control, right? Like obviously red side has more minions than blue side has, which means that red side has the wave control. This is really good. This secures wave control for yourself. Wave's obviously going to be pushing back in. Diana being here means that this is kind of bad, but I think you still have pressure, potential pressure on the Sion here, right? Like Sion cannot do this. Even if Diana's staying in this bush, how does she reach you if you're standing here and pressuring Sion, right? Especially if you have your ultimate to run away a little bit, you have your acceleration gate, like that sort of thing. I think he should be looking really hard into pressuring here. Obviously we know Diana isn't here, which means we can then use this time to be hitting really hard. I think this is really good from him. Right? How much gold has first strike given him? 91. Yikes, okay. 91 at 8 minutes in a matchup where it's Jace versus Sion is really bad as a little thing for everyone. Right? The reason it's really bad is because Jace has a lot of range and he has a lot of damage as well. Just in general, he has a lot of damage. And so I think like he should really be doing getting a lot more value out of the first strike than he is at the moment, right? So this is obviously good, but he then sees Diana, right? I don't know if he does see Diana, if he just doesn't care, but yeah, he ends up dying for this. So I think this is really bad. This just goes into the thing of what I was saying about not going melee form unless it's execute range. Here he's trading in melee form, which means that Sion's getting a grass proc for free. Like look, he's gonna get another grass proc here, which heals him a little bit. Another grass proc before. Those 2 grass procs saved him here. Maybe not quite. Maybe not quite saved him. Maybe that's like being mean. But you know, like it's. Yeah, I think you really don't want to be playing melee when you're playing Jace. Like I think that's just a really bad idea in general. He doesn't have the TP, I don't think. Yeah, he does not have the TP, which means he's gonna have to run back to lane here. Loses a couple minions. And now we see here Jace is in a really bad spot. He's 500 gold down, right? 2 assists and a couple minions down. And yeah, obviously Cull for Sion's obviously going to be giving him a bit more gold as well. Right, 60 gold in that case. But here he still has the range advantage. I think he's still in a really strong spot. Like for example, Sion can never be doing this in this game, right? He can never freeze here. And here Jace should be looking to use spells onto the Sion while he's like kind of chilling, right? He should be walking up towards the top of the lane here like this. This is good. Sion obviously has to move to the bottom, and now you should just be looking to hit with auto attacks, right? Here you can outrange his Q. This is really good, and then you can trade really hard here. Like this, use your E as well to get that little bit of damage, and then yeah, that's it, right? That already gave him another 60 gold from first strike. That's exactly what you need to be doing as the Jace here, right? Getting him kind of low here, getting him under a little bit of pressure, right? You don't want to let him get anything for free, right? He has his EQ up. If he self-roots himself with his Q, you want to be using that time to move a little bit up and hit him with the QE, right? Like, for example, like, If we wait here a second, 2, 1. You have your spells up, right? You see he wants to go for this minion. How can he reach this minion when he's just used his E? Well, obviously he's going to Q it. How do you reach him? Where's he going to Q from? Probably here, because that's the range of it. He's going to go from here. So you need to move up preemptively here and hit him with QE. Right, compared to where we are just trying to hit the wave for absolutely zero reason. Right, why are we hitting the wave here? We're trying to kind of push in under tower, but we're like not killing him instead, which is something we could be doing as well. Like, yeah, we can do this, but Sion's gonna base, he's probably gonna ult back. We walk away here, I guess, because I think this is good, right? We're obviously planning on playing like kind of over here. If we're trying to play in this kind of block of the lane, we want to be warding this bush. We don't want to be warding the river, because by the time we see them in the river here and we're standing here, it's too late to react, right? We're going to be kind of in trouble, whereas if we're standing here, this gives us a lot earlier vision. Of course, if they come through river, that could anyway just kind of mess us up, right? They'll come through river and then we won't see them. But I think this is a really good ward if we're looking to play in this part of the lane. But this makes it bad. You're placing this ward to you get 100 seconds of vision. Okay? If you base immediately afterwards, it takes 8 seconds to base, 20 seconds to run back, so that's 28 seconds. Then the wave's going to be coming into you, which means you aren't playing in this block, which makes this ward redundant, until the fact that the wave manages to crash and you manage to push it back. So in the time that it takes you to do that, this ward is basically gone. Right? And yeah, like if we see here, like Sion has control. He can pick up control of the wave really easily. Like this ward, 0 value. It's got 30 seconds left. 70 seconds of this value of the ward wasted. Right, let's go back a little bit to when we actually get to the lane, because I just wanted to show you guys this ward kind of being kind of irrelevant, right? But let's take a look here. Jace, way too scared. Right, he's way too scared here to be playing like this. Right, he can be going up here. He should be looking to hit Sion with spells. This is a perfect QE angle, which he has available to him. He waits until afterwards, though. He jumps in with melee form to get onto the cannon instead of getting onto the Sion. And now look at this position that Jace is in right now. It's an abysmal one. Like, he's been super heavily outtraded just because of the fact that he's got melee range. He's jumped into melee for absolutely zero reason, put himself in a very vulnerable position into a champion that likes being into melee assassins. Right? Because this isn't a bruiser, this is an assassin. Look at item build, right? This is an assassin. Like, this is Sion's happy place. This is not Sion's happy place, because this is a ranged versus melee matchup. Right? But beforehand, this was a happy place. Here, he sees here we see, like, let me see, like, what we see as no spectator here. Right, obviously with the bad trade happening here, trying to trade auto attacks, which is kind of crazy. We get the spam pings coming out. We see Diana here. We walk back. We obviously, it's like, we don't recognize the fact that, like, Poppy is here. We have spells coming up in 2 seconds, though, but also we can't really move in here because of the way Sion's positioning, right? He kind of controls this area, right? Like, this is his area. Like this. This is all his area. For Sion, like, Jace can't really walk in here, and so Poppy kind of runs in. Jace can't react. I don't know what's going on with this positioning from no spectator. Right, let me just take a look here. Like, he's like, we see Poppy going in. Right, we walk out. They were like, no wait, let me walk back. No wait, let me walk up. Right, but like, he's kind of not moved at all in the time that it's taken Sion to come from here to here. And yeah, he comes like as a kind of like a backup here, but it's like too late. He can't really do anything. It's too late. Like yeah, Sion's here, potentially here. You can look to pressure with Sion ultimate, but I still don't know if it's a great idea. Right? It's a 6-0 Diana, right? So really weird from no spectator. That trade earlier being really bad kind of screws up this whole play, right? So that bad trade is gonna mess it up a little bit. And then here we see ourselves, and this is kind of the problem here. We want to be pressuring here really hard. We trade a little bit. Not too much trading going on. Right here, we don't know where Sion is anymore. It could be pretty much anywhere. Right, so We see them on the Herald. Poppy steals the Herald. Very late reaction, to be honest, from no spectator in looking to move down and play for something. Like here, I think you need to be playing in the actual... Like, this is really good, I think. Melee form is not that good. Right, if we can pick this up, it's really good as well, but Poppy ends up getting both kills. Very late from no spectator. Could be moving a lot earlier than he actually is. Right, bases. Not a good base timing, I think. He's going to lose a couple of minions here. Like, I think here you rather want to push out and then base, whereas right now it's just kind of... Like, he's just losing minions, right? He's just losing... Yeah, the wave's pushing into him, right? But he's just losing a lot of minions. And he does not want the wave to be pushing into him necessarily, right? Like, he's lost an entire... He's losing a couple minions here. Yes, Sion's losing more, right? Which is, I guess, kind of fine. But at the same time, right, I think you just want to push this in, just secure it, and then come back to lane, right? Because, like I said before with Jace, you don't want to be standing in this part of the lane. Right, you don't want to be... Hey, look, they've got the world's vision. The T1 vision for Sion. Okay, that's funny. But, yeah, you don't want to be standing in the back here because you want to have a lot of space to move in your lane and look for different angles on your opponent, right? So, yes, we lose five melee minions in this exchange, but Sion loses 12, so I think it's worth in that regard. Here, I think there's a... Yeah, this is really good. I think you should be looking... I think this is not the best play in terms of, like, what you could be doing with Jace. I think you also don't want to be running away here, which is what I... Like, this is really good. Really good punish. Kills Sion. Very nice. And, yeah. So this is really good, right? He loses a lot. Sion, like, lost a lot on the way in here. He dies, which means he loses even more. He does pick up the cannon, though, unfortunately, but that's fine. Timeout can look to then push this out. Those spectators, sorry, can look to push this out here, and then... Yeah, we can go from there. So we're gonna look to pressure this tower, which is good. I think here we have to look to base though. Like, this is like really late to base already. Like, we probably can't base here. We are going to pick up another plate, which is another 125 gold to ourselves. And yeah, we do have access to the wave. So here our main priority in top lane is to push this wave. Because we stayed so long to pick up plates, we have to look to push the wave as quickly as possible to enable us to go base. Right, so I think this is really good from No Spectator to recognize this. I think he probably wants to go melee form here, jump in, clear the wave, and then base. I don't think you want to stay here at all as Jace, right? You probably have a lot of gold here. Yeah, 1.1k gold. You really want to be spending that. That's probably like, that's a Corefield's Warhammer for you. And you really don't want to be playing this part of the lane, right? Like, this is really bad for you. He's going to take a base here of the wave being killed. Is this a cannon wave? Yes, it is. Like, it's got some value that it's the cannon wave coming in now. But Sion obviously is very, very good at killing waves, right? But he is going to TP back, so that's going to be fine in that regard. He can just look to pressure Sion. He should be looking really hard at pressuring Sion right now. Right, he should be looking very hard. He does not actually get Caulfields. He picks up the Ionian Boots plus a longsword, which is good. You know, he's going to jump in here, deal a bit of damage. I still don't like the melee form here. I think he really should be looking to play range form a lot more than he is in this top matchup. Like, his priority here should be to kill Sion. Nothing else, just kill Sion. It doesn't matter what he trades, he just wants to kill Sion. Like, yes, Sion has the ultimate, so if he does hit him with E, he could be in a little bit of trouble, right? But yeah, here his priority has to be killing Sion. His QE goes wide. Like, No Spectator has been really poor with his shock blasts, accelerated shock blasts rather. Here, I think he should look to tank it. I think this is poor not tanking it. I think there's an angle for him to walk up and tank it. And, yeah, it is really good for him, though. Doesn't lose any HP. Burns Sion ultimate. Sion will probably just look to TP back. And again, his priority should still be to kill Sion, right? Sion is really, really vulnerable to the Jace right now in this top matchup. I think he should be looking really heavily at killing Sion here. Right, he can't let him get anything for free, right? He needs to be harassing on every single thing that he's doing. This is really good from him. Shock Blast goes out, very nice. And this is a really good trade again for No Spectator. And this has to be kind of how the lane goes all the time. If Sion decides to show up in the lane, he has to be punished by Jace. I don't know why Jace is walking this far back. Right, this is a really weird thing to do, I think. Here you should just look to jump in. I think just jump in and knock him away, just get some damage out. Whereas right now it looks like he's kind of just chilling. Hammer attack's grown 18 mana. That's pretty nice. But yeah, I think this is a bad base. I think you don't want to be taking bases like this. Like this is a really, really bad base from No Spectator, right? Obviously it's Sion. Sion can clear waves really quickly. You want to be pushing. You have Prio in this lane, right? Like you're like the best chance of victory in this game. As Jace here, you have to be making sure that the enemy team knows it, right? Like this base is not a good base. This is like a panic base from No Spectator. Right, he should be looking to push this wave in, potentially kill the Scion, and then base. Right, like that has to be the angle, I think. Obviously, like Poppy not going to do much to the Scion here. Jace here prioritizes hitting the creeps with spells, which means he doesn't have spells anymore. He jumps in, doesn't get the kill, and Diana with Xerath is going to kill him. He does have the Last Whisper. I really like the Last Whisper here. Right, you can just look to sit on it. You know, you're playing against Sion, getting the Last Whisper, not actually that bad in that regard. It just helps your side in a little bit more, right? That's kind of the thought process behind it. But yeah, No Spectator has had quite a lot of pressure in this game onto the Sion, and I think buying this here is just going to make it a little bit better, right? He's obviously he should be looking to finish the Manamune now, though, as well. But yeah, in terms of laning, I think there's a lot of areas where there's still a lot to learn for No Spectator, right? Figuring out what his goal has to be in regards to either the wave or the champion, right? I think the way you decided is like, am I stronger than my opponent? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, play to kill him, right? Obviously, in games like these, you're looking to get as much gold as possible into your own pockets, right? Because, you know, the rest of the map's looking really dire. 8 and 8 being down 50 CS, or 2-3 being down 25 CS, or 1 and 1 being down 14 CS to a 6 and 1 Twitch. You know, all these sort of things, they're not looking very good, and they're not very promising for your team. And in that case, I think as the person that's shining the most in the team right now, right, you need to be looking to guarantee that you can pick up some kills, right? Obviously, with the fact that Sion has picked up quite a lot of these, got the Cull going, you know, he's also got like 2 assists more than him. He's also got the gold from the tower. Like, obviously, it makes sense that there'd be more gold going over to the Sion, right? Which is why it kind of looks even. But if you watch the actual lane, it's not even at all, right? And if Sion tries to match Jace, it's over for Sion, right? So really good position for Jace to be in the top lane, right? Obviously, really nice in the side lane to be much stronger than your opponent. Here, I think you have to be very careful, right? You've got, like, here he walks kind of into Diana. He is just gonna probably get, like, kind of one shot here. He does get one shot, unfortunately. And I think the game here is pretty done, right? Like, how does Jace actually do anything when he's, like, even in gold with the top laner who's just gonna de-push every wave he pushes in, unless he can kill him? The jungler is much stronger than him. Gragas can just nullify him. Twitch is much stronger than him. Xerath is probably just as strong and matches range. Like, there's a lot of issues here for Jace and how to play out this game. But we'll see how it does end up playing out. He does end up deciding to go bot. I think the reason he's deciding to go bot is because, like, firstly, Dragon is up. Right, so Dragon is up, which means as Jace, you kind of want to be with the team for Dragons. If you're playing other split push champions like Fiora, you probably want to be on the other side of the map to the objective your team is going to play. So what that means is, like, if we're going to play Dragon, you want to be on the top side of the map. If we're going to play Baron, you want to be on the bot side of the map. But as Jace, you have the option to do both, right? Because he has TP, he can do both. But it doesn't matter, right? Like, if he is there with the team for the objective, it's good. If he's on the side lane, not with the team, it's good. I think that's why Jace is such a good champion, because you have so much freedom in what you can do after the laning phase is done, right? So I think that's something that he can think about as well. And here, I think something that they have to look to kill Xerath here. I think he sees Xerath, he has to look to kill him. Though he can't base here, he does stop his base, so yeah, this is really good, I think. Yeah, is going to get the one shot. Very nice. He should pick up the wave here and then look to pressure the tower if possible, or if he doesn't see people in the game, he should look to just base. He doesn't see people, so he does look to end up just basing. Still doesn't see people. He does see Sion Twitch in the mid lane, Gragas top, and Xerath dead. So he doesn't know where Diana is. I think that's a bit scary considering how strong Diana is, but Diana is just going to be looking to take the Drake. And yeah. That's going to be that. Nice little bit of gold going over to Jace. Sion's getting gold just because of the fact that he's been around for this tower. You know, he's picked up a wave, he's picked up some kills, right, some assists. That's why he's kind of chilling right now as well. And yeah, also not farming abysmally, right? Like, obviously, like we spoke about with Sion, Sion can just clear waves really quickly. Like, there's not much, like, trying to push into Sion's really hard if you don't have kill threat on Sion, right? I think that's why this last Whisper purchase is just so good. And it's just because, like, you know, Sion is in the side lane. He's got a lot of health, so having a bit of armor penetration, he's got some armor as well, right? 150. Getting a bit of armor penetration is always very nice in that regard. And, I think this is way too respectful positioning from No Spectator. I don't know if he's just not wanting to push up. He has this ward here. Yeah, he doesn't have a ward here. So he doesn't know if someone can walk in from there, but I think No Spectator has to be trying to do something. Like, this is good. You know, he gets a little bit of a trade on the Sion. Obviously not a very great trade. He's walking really far back here when he has access to that melee form. He can be looking to do something. He's going to pick up the kill on Twitch. The kill on Twitch going over to him means he gets 1,000 gold. He picks up another 450 from Sion. So this means that it's now on No Spectator to carry the game. Right, he's picked up a lot of gold. This should mean to the different players that it's time to carry. Right, that's exactly what it should mean. He walks top here. He has potentially enough to buy Sorel does. I think he does. Does he have the futures market? Yeah, he does. Okay. I think he does have enough to buy the Sorel does here. Right, the Gragas flashes away. EQ hits, very nice. He's gonna go back to hitting the wave. I think this is really bad from No Spectator, right? We see Diana. Diana is just gonna look to punish really hard. If No Spectator is here, this can look a lot better, right? Imagine if No Spectator is here. He's dead already. Sion, like Xerath's dead soon afterwards, right? Like, he would just be completely dead. No Spectator flashes forward, bit of a tough one. He should just knock away Sion. Yep, that's gonna be that. He's still playing melee form into the Sion, and he's going to look to base here. I think No Spectator is playing this really, really poorly. Like everything about this, right? Like if we look back here, like, first thing, going to the wave here is really, really not worth it. Yeah, he picks up cannon, but that's 90 gold compared to what Diana, Xerath, and this TP is worth, right? There's a lot of gold he's missing out on. He misses the QE. You know, he flashes over. Xerath escapes. And then this fight here, if we play this back, right, like, he's not hitting Sion at all, right? This is good so far, right? He's gonna give away the Heartsteel. He's gonna like try and jump away. Obviously the Sion Q goes wide. He jumps forward. This is really nice from him. Okay, I don't know why he's running away here. Why doesn't he continue fighting, right? Poppy's going forward. He has Nico coming in as well, kind of from the side. Right, like, why is he running away? Even if Twitch is coming, Twitch gets absolutely one shot by No Spectator. Like, if he thinks Twitch is here, right, which I think he does think Twitch is here, he should still be here and just save it for when he sees Twitch. Like, Twitch into the Jace QE into W into R QE W or WQ or whatever combo. Like, if he uses his full combo, Twitch is dead. And instead, what happens here is Poppy chases really far. You know, your big gold, right? You've got your 11.3k gold. 25% of your gold is not in this fight. Which is absolutely crazy to me, I think. And I think it's just like an homage to how much more impact Jace could be having. And the spam ping comes out about Jace, and technically it's not wrong, right? Like, Jace is your gold, but he's not playing as if he's got a lot of gold. He's playing mostly as if he's just weak. And like here, he hasn't even gone base yet. He's not spending his gold that he has. He's got 2.7k. He's dealing quite a lot of damage though. Like, he's just going to clear the wave here, or he should look to be clearing the wave. The tower does go down, unfortunately. And yeah, he's just gonna hit, like, Sion takes a lot of damage from him. He's taking a lot of damage. And he should just look to base now. He should not look to do anything else. He should look to go base. He does go base. He can probably pick up the Sereldas, you know, build maybe a component of the Black Cleaver. Yes, he does build a component of the Black Cleaver, which is nice. And then here, this is where he's really, really strong as well, right? He's really, really strong here if he prioritizes picking up, like, damage, right? So here he obviously has his Q coming up. So if he sees Twitch here, he should look to one-shot Twitch. He chokes the QE, which means that Twitch is going to survive. You know, he's in a little bit of trouble. But yeah, the choking, big problem here. He's going to just have to walk base. Obviously, that means the Twitch R isn't there anymore, which means he can't do this. But something that happens a lot in games like these, where you have, like, the... where you have a bad experience like this, is you start thinking that you have the bad experience because of your champion difference, instead of thinking about what made the experience bad. The experience there was bad because, firstly, Jace chokes his Shock Blast, Accelerated Shock Blast, right? And also, Twitch used Ultimate. Right, he won't have that available, and the Accelerated Shock Blast just won't be choked the next time, which means he should know that he's really strong in regards to the Twitch, right? He should be knowing this, right? Obviously, Black Cleaver, I think he's looking to build into Black Cleaver, which I think is a really good idea. Building into Black Cleaver makes it that he's untouchable in the side lane, right? He's untouchable completely in the side lane. So building into that will also make it really easy to deal with the Twitch as well, who's got a little bit of HP. Like, obviously, HP and armor is not the same. Black Cleaver does shred armor, but that's going to make it so you deal more damage HP wise as well, right? So here we see No Spectator kind of making use of the fact that he's really strong. He jumps in and he kills him. So, like, No Spectator really, really strong here. He's, like, dealing a lot of damage, right? He's picking up a little bit of gold as well, so he's looking to get that Black Cleaver as quickly as possible, accelerate that for him. I think he should be looking to play side lane a lot and try and get someone to match him and kill them, right? I think he can kill absolutely everyone in the game on the side lane 1v1, and he should be looking to force that to happen. Right, trying to play in a 5v5, it's hard as Jace to play 5v5, especially if they have ways to start the fight. Because yes, you do a lot of damage, but your damage has to come from you using your range spells a couple of times and then jumping in. But if the fight is kind of forced onto you, you can use one range spell, like with the Sion, for example, or the Diana even, or even like Twitch going invisible and like appearing in front of you. Like, all of these are going to make it that you can use your range spells one time. And I think if you can play in the side lane, you can look to slowly pressure anyone who tries to match you, right? So here, it looks like they're going to try and pressure Baron. I think this is good. Sion in base, Twitch still coming. The Baron is relatively quick as well. Probably going to look to trade it for Drake, considering Xerath and Gragas are both here. So yeah, this is very nice for them. They do pick up the Baron off this back of Jace being really, really strong, right? He's now on 1.4k gold. I don't think he can quite buy the Black Cleaver yet, but he can sell Dorans and pick up another component. Yep, 200 health, some ability haste as well. Right, so he has... How much ability haste does he have here? The Jace, 95. Great. 50% cooldown reduction. He is really, really strong, right? Like, Black Cleaver is coming soon as well for him, right? He has, obviously, Futures Market as well to try and cover some of it, right? The Futures Market covers 300 gold. So he can look to try and play really heavily for the Black Cleaver here. But he's really strong in terms of the Sion. He goes melee here. I don't like that at all. He doesn't really make use of the fact that he has his ranged E as well. Like, I mean, his ranged W. Like, he's potentially really strong. I think if he stays ranged form, he kills him here. He can kind of just walk with him as he tries to walk away. He doesn't really have to commit into the melee form. But even if he does, right, it's still a lot of damage. Like, he's still winning out on trades really heavily. Right, also another thing, if he plays melee form, he has to tank the Sunfire, whereas, and potentially a hard steal, is if he plays ranged form, he doesn't have to tank it that hard. Here, he backs off. I don't know why he backs off. Like, maybe he's anticipating a really heavy push here. Right, but you do have the Ezreal, you have the Baroned up minions. Like, I don't think you have to be really worried about this. Whereas if he was top, he can kind of force another fight between him and Sion, and that could potentially be really good. Right? He does come mid here, he does pick up the kill. He has the Black Cleaver as well, which means Jace is going to carry this game. Or Jace should be carrying this game 100%. Right, there's no other way around it. This is a game where Jace is going to carry. He has to be carrying, right? And we're going to have to see how he does play it. How does Jace carry this game? He can carry it either through the team fights by getting Shock Blast, like, off cooldown. He needs to be using Shock Blast, try and chunk anyone he can. Because he has the Ezreal as well. So if Ezreal Qs are hitting, Jace Accelerated Shock Blasts are hitting, it's going to be dealing a lot of damage, and it's really going to be pressuring really hard onto his opponents. So in team fights, that's potentially something he can do if he groups. In the side lane, he's really, really strong against every single person in the game right now. Right, he's got the Black Cleaver, you know, he's got the Sereldas, you know, it's a bit of health coming in, he's got the Eclipse to get a bit of more damage, gets a bit of a shield. He just got the Mirror Mana for some damage, Ionian Boots to provide a little bit of ability haste. Like, he's really strong in the side lane. Absolutely no one can match him right now. And so as long as he isn't caught in a side lane, I think it's totally fine. Like, he should be looking to carry this game. He's just going to walk top lane. How much gold does he have? 850, right? He should probably be looking to build into something like more last, right? To try and deal with the Gragas burst, the Diana burst, the Xerath burst, you know, like Xerath, like these are all really burst champions. When playing against burst champions, you probably want to be picking up more just to deal with that little bit of AP damage coming out. Here, he's in a teamfight position, but look how far back he's standing. Like, he's trying to walk with the wave while his team is, like, really far up, right? Like, his team's in a really vulnerable position here, and there's nothing you can really do. Like, look, he's, like, he does hit a massive shock blast, but he has to do this a couple of times, right? The fight starts, he's gone into melee form, so he can't impact anything, right? He's walking in here, he's trying to do something, but he hasn't impacted this fight outside of one accelerated shock blast. Like, that's all he's done as a champion that's got 14,500 gold, being really, really, really strong. Like, he's the strongest member on his team by a fair margin, and he's just kind of not been able to do anything, right? Like, even here, he's prioritizing picking up the wave instead of prioritizing playing with his team, right? Like, his team is going to die here for sure, just because the strongest person in their team isn't here. He's prioritizing killing the wave, but the fight's going on miles away. And, like, yeah, you can try and help here, right? Like, he gets a nice shock blast, you know, all that sort of stuff going, but, like, he's super scared here. Of what? Of what is he super scared? Why is he walking away? Why isn't he walking in here? Why isn't he looking to kill, like, the Xerath that's going to be one-shot, the Twitch that is one-shot, or the Gragas that is also one-shot? Like, yeah, Diana's here, but I think, like, this is totally a winning position for No Spectator, but he just decides to back away. You know, they're being chased by everyone, kind of. He's walking back here like this. He sees the Twitch here. That should just be a kill. He chokes his accelerated shock blast. Diana is really strong, but yeah, she's just gonna die to timeout as well. No Spectator, but he's gonna die to a Xerath, and unfortunately, with him dead for a minute, I think that's probably a bit of a tough one, right? Like, the Hex Drinker should come out here at least, right? Yeah, Hex Drinker should for sure come out here. I think Hex Drinker is really, really broken into this team comp. The TP for Sion is available, which means they can be looking to pressure. Yeah, Hex Drinker comes out. This is really good. He's going to get a bit of magic resist, going to get a bit of shielding. So that's fine. We're going to speed this up a little bit, wait for him to come back alive. And he walks top. Everyone in his team is walking towards the objective that's spawning in 50 seconds, and No Spectator walks top. We don't know why he walks top. I don't think he even knows why he walks top. I don't know what he's trying to do here. You know, like, he just wastes time. His team's in a position here where they don't have their main damage. He still has to catch up. Like, they have a lot of ways to force fights, right? Like, this could be really, really bad if the fight starts. And it kind of does start, right? Twitch is in a little bit of trouble. I mean, Silas gets chunked a little bit. But now, because Jace wasn't here originally on the initial push, they don't have control of the river. They don't have the Jace coming in to do a lot of damage. He throws a shock blast. That's probably going to be, like, Gragas dead. On the side lane here, they're looking to fight. He has to prioritize, I think he has to look to prioritize Twitch here or Diana. Like, one of them, I think Twitch is probably priority number 1. Right? He does kill the Diana, but Twitch just kind of shreds them as they're setting a little bit of a choke, and that is going to be the end of the game, right? Twitch getting really, really strong as well, you know, having so much damage with the Blade, Titanic Hydra, and Hurricane, right? Just shredding kind of everyone. And that's why I said you have to be prioritizing AD carry. Like, yeah, Diana's strong, but you have the Hex Drinker to deal with Diana, whereas you don't have anything to deal with the Twitch, right? Like, Diana, Gragas, and Xerath are really not scary for you. Your biggest threats are the Twitch in this game, right? Having the Black Cleaver plus the Hex Drinker means that someone who's not building to cancel health and also to cancel, like, who does physical damage is going to be a lot scarier for you than people who do magic damage and who don't have max health damage or current health damage, right? So, bit of a blunder there from to No Spectator to look to prioritize hitting the Diana. Like, yeah, after this, what does Diana have left, right? She's used her ultimate. It's done 0 damage to No Spectator. Like, Twitch is 100% the scary person in this game, but he kind of just tanks a full like a full Twitch ult like without really doing much, and that is I think where they lost the game. Him not being here earlier to apply pressure, try and do some damage before the dragon spawns, you know, him not prioritizing the right targets, his laning phase being subpar, right, not making full use of the fact that he is a really strong champion and he can be doing a lot. I think these are all factors that have contributed to this game being a loss, and so there's a lot for No Spectator to work on here in regards to some of the stuff I've said, right? Sion TP's top to push the wave, which is really funny, but yeah, the game is just gonna end. I think he's gonna try and bow special it maybe. No, he doesn't have ultimate for 20 seconds, unfortunate. But yeah, that's gonna be that one. It's gonna be the game. Most likely, I don't think there's much more to this game. Yeah, that's gonna be the end of the game. So I'm gonna leave here, and we're gonna go back to the client. Right, and now we're gonna look at the next part of. We're gonna go to the next. We can go to Corey, which is the next person that I'm wanting to take a look at. I've already downloaded the game I want to look at as well. It's this one here. So yeah, we're gonna go look at Corey now. We're gonna do a bit of AD carry reviewing. Right, my absolute favorite. I love AD carry. So we're gonna be looking pretty relatively in depth at that. So let me see if we can see the client. Yeah, okay, you guys, we can see the client. Okay, so in this game, Corey is on the red side, which is what we're going to be focusing on primarily. Right, let's just skip forward. Any shenanigans level 1? No, not really. Just Zilean kind of not being very sportsmanlike, which is funny. Okay, so in regards to this lane, we're playing Xayah, Zilean versus Sivir Rakan. So with Zilean, you obviously want to be the wave to be pushing. Right, it's kind of a similar concept to Jace in the fact that he's a poke champion, which means he wants to be up in the lane, so he has a lot of place to move, a lot of different angles to throw spells from, and his opponents don't have much space to walk around in, right? If they can walk around a lot, there's a lot more angles for him to dodge, whereas if they can only walk around in a small area, it's a lot less dodge potential for the Zilean. So Zilean, obviously wanting the wave to be pushed, and Xayah, very good with that, is very good at pushing waves, right? Xayah should be able to get prio very comfortably. Yes, there's a Sivir on the enemy team. Sivir can start getting prio really easily at from level 9, which is when she can one-shot waves with her QW. Right, but before that, it should all be Xayah, considering, yes, Sivir can throw Q, but that's not really going to be killing the wave, right? So it is something to be thinking about. You know, if she can hit this wave a couple times, it could be really good. Obviously, Rakan trading on here is not that good, right? Zilean not really making full use, but Corey as well not being in a really good position to deal with that one, right? It could kind of be obvious, right? If we look back a little bit, like look at how Rakan is positioning here. He's going to go into this bush. What's his effective range? His effective range is probably like right in front of Corey, which means when he Ws, he probably Ws right in front of Corey, right in front of the Corey and knocks her up, right? So that's not that bad, right? I think, but that is going to basically mean that the prio is going to be given over to Sivir because Zilean isn't hitting the wave. This is really good from Zilean. That's going to help secure some prio here. So level 2 should be picked up almost at equal times here if Zilean and them hit the right targets. So it is picked up first for Xayah, Zilean. Xayah, we're walking up very nicely from Corey. Again, getting hit by the knock-up. I think this is a bit of a scary situation. Cleanse comes out. Right, we know that the Sivir has the W, which means that the feathers would have rooted. But yeah, in this case, we're very low here as Corey, like we're not in a very good spot, unfortunately. And yeah, we're going to have to play a bit defensive now, just due to the fact of how this lane has played out. Right, Zilean not really having much impact in the lane, even though he technically should have. But that's also due to the fact that the wave has been pushed by Sivir Rakan. So they've done a really good job in nullifying Zilean impact, as well as nullifying Xayah impact. Right, so very good from the enemy bot lane in this case. So yeah, the wave kind of slow down a bit. Zilean, like Sivir's gonna base, kind of getting a cheater recall there. I think in this case you want to be pushing really, really slowly as Xayah, right? Get another wave coming before you push the next one. Like, yeah, Sivir will walk in with the wave, but I think it's not the end of the world, right? Because if you push here, the wave can probably kind of lock. Yeah, unless it was pushed just fast enough. It was pushed fast enough, so that's nice. The wave is pushed fast enough. Zilean and Xayah together pushing fast enough, so that's good. For them, they get a nice base. She also comes back with Cull. So Cull and 2 pots, so technically got a little bit of advantage over the Sivir here, which is nice. Let's speed this up as we get back to the lane. In a case like this, I don't think you have to be really far up, right? If you don't know where Rakan is, like if you haven't seen him basing, I don't know if we saw them base, right? If we watch here, red side vision. Okay, we do see him base. Okay, perfect. So we see him base, which means we can walk up here, and we can start looking to control the wave as well, right? What that means is, as Xayah, you want the wave to be pushing. You know you have Zilean coming back. You know Zilean wants the wave to be pushed in, which is then why you want to look to try and pressure the wave here. Use the spells on the wave. Sorry. Use the spells on the wave, get a bit of control of the wave, and then kind of keep the wave here. Right, if you keep the wave here, I think it's really, really good for you. Right, instead, it kind of looks like it's being kind of slow pushed back into us. This is really good. Obviously, I think you want to control this, or like keep doing this a little bit. Very nice route there, get a bit of damage off. I think this is really good from Kore, but the problem is the wave is still kind of pushing into us, which means we want to be hitting it a lot more to start trying to gain some prio and getting the wave back into the opponents. This here is really good. I think Zilean... I think here this is still really good focus from Kore. Burns the spell shield. The other feathers don't connect, but I think that's totally fine, right? You're trading very heavily back. I think that's pretty fine. There is a bit of a wave, but I don't think it matters that much. Here they should know about Echo. Right? If this ward goes dark, like this, and you press tab, and you see that there's 2 stealth wards on your bot lane, you should know that, hey, maybe there's someone else in my lane, right? We see Yasuo, we see Pantheon, which means Echo has to be here. I'm not Echo, that's funny. And it looks like they do know that he's here, right? It looks like there's a little bit of a ping going up there. Wave is under our tower, though, so there's not much to be scared of in that regard, right? So we just kind of chilling, right? We're just waiting. At this point, we just want to make sure that we're farming every creep that we can. Zilean being very nice and sending up the minions for us. I think it's needed. I don't think Cull is enough to manage to one-shot the backline, the range creeps. So that's very nice that that actually is how it is. The spell shield comes out really early. I think if there's a bit like... I think it's really hard here to position better here as Xayah, right? Because spell shield coming out really early means that the root is basically guaranteed. But if we look at how this plays out, right? First off, she's in a really bad position. We see Rakan coming in. So Rakan's goal is to kind of jump in the middle here to knock them both up, right? Which means she kind of has to space Rakan, right? So the Rakan comes in here. Nice space from Kore so it can't hit both. Like Zilean has to flash. Actually, I just want to watch this in really slow motion, right? Because I think like there's a couple of things here that I can look at, right? So the Q originally goes wide. And then because she walks back into it, like the spell shield is like going out right now, which means that this can... If she walks down now, she can potentially look to pick us up. But because of how they're moving as well, and how like if Sivir moves down here as well to try and avoid the Xayah feathers, Xayah has to walk really far. Like Xayah has to walk this entire distance up till about here. If Sivir walks this tiny distance there, right? So if we look at how this plays out, like Sivir is walking down, which means then that Kore has to move like to about here in order to get the root, which means that we probably just want to start walking away, right? I think trading like this is not very good. We're trading 1v2, and yeah, Zilean can't really match anymore, which means we just get a little bit of a thing. I don't think we pull back the feathers here. I think that's mana that's a mana and a cooldown we rather want to save, because that's not hitting anyone, right? So there's no point using that cooldown there. Sivir obviously walking up really bravely here. The reason she can is because Zilean is kind of not doing much in this lane. And now I think Kore's in a little bit of trouble. She does have to flash to get out of the stun, so that's very good. Good flash from her. And she picks up the cannon, so she's relatively chilling here. This is another game where you just kind of have to... You're just at the mercy of the lane because of your support not being very good, right? Like here we see Zilean getting killed. Nice double root from Xayah, but there's nothing much you can do about it. If this can go over to Xayah, this is really, really good, but she is going to die. It is potentially going to be a double kill, though. It is going to be a double kill for the Vi. So this is something that, in case there are any junglers watching, or if there are any junglers watching at all, this is something where, as a jungler, you cannot say you've helped bot lane. You can't say it, right? Enemy Sivir is 2-1. Your AD carry is 0-1-2. If you get both kills in the bot lane and your AD carry dies, you haven't helped bot lane. I think it's very important for everyone to recognize that you have not helped bot lane in this case. Okay, bot lane is still very, very unhelped, and there needs to be more help coming out in that regard, right? Like, this isn't helping bot lane. Just a quick thing for them. In terms of this fight, in terms of like the fight from Corey's perspective, right? Like, it starts off relatively fine, good double root, but I think here, like, no mana, right? So you can't do anything anymore, right? Like Vi is here. There's absolutely no reason to be trading here. But you're definitely losing this trade. You know, level 5 Sivir. You know, she's got she's really, really strong, right? Like, you don't want to be trading here 1-for-1, right? And she has mana as well, so the Q comes out, and that's gonna kill you. I think it's really bad from Corey to trade here, knowing that Vi was here, right? Like, Vi can kill them both if she just backs away. Like, she doesn't have to die here for this. And if she doesn't die, like, if he doesn't die there, then she can look to push out this wave base really comfortably, and she's very happy, right? So a bit of a weird fight angle, I think, for Corey in that regard. She does come back to the wave, looking to push the back creeps. I think this is really good. Killing the range creeps is really, really good for pushing a wave. However, the big problem I see here is the fact that Zilean is mid now. This wave is frozen. It's gonna freeze for Sivir. However, she is just gonna look to kill the wave, so that's really nice for Corey. Doesn't get punished as hard as she maybe should be on the fact that her Zilean is roaming. Kills the camps, I mean the minions outside of the tower, which is good. The next wave gets absolutely deleted. Which is nice. Corey's just gonna look to take whatever she can get under the tower here. I don't think she has to be, like, I think this is really good from her. I think being like this far back is really nice. You know, she can pick up her creeps kind of for free. You know, get the gold, secure the gold, very nice. Right, so obviously Zilean's still not back in lane yet. He's kind of chilling over here. You know, Rakan is on the dragon. We don't have bot prio, so Corey can't really move here. Moving here is really bad, I think, for Corey. Like, I think, like, Zilean is in trouble already, right? Like, Zilean's gonna die, potentially. Corey is on the, like, you're on the wrong side. Corey's on the wrong side of the fight here, right? Like, she can't really walk in here. Which means he kind of walks over here just to kind of look. She does get a little bit of damage off, but I don't think that damage is worth anything in terms of the fight. And so, yeah, she comes in here. I think this is, like, again, a really bad position to be fighting for her. And so, yeah, she's just gonna get traded on a little bit. I think she potentially loses this as well. Very nice movement from her, though. Unfortunately, she's gonna get hit by the knockup. Very nice ultimate, though. But yeah, she is gonna be knocked away, which means no kills are gonna come from it. And she did lose a wave during this whole exchange. She lost an entire wave. Okay, so what I'm gonna say here about this fight, right? This fight, like, Corey moving here, is only good if the fight is gonna stay here. Right? If the fight moves backwards, which it will be because we're behind, right? And our support is, like, basically dead already. Because the fight moves backwards, Corey has to walk from here. She walks kind of all the way like this. If the fight was here, she could start impacting it already from over here. But because it's over here, she has to walk all the way around like this to try and reach. Because she can't just walk like this. And even if she was walking straight like this, it's still really far away. And the fact that the wave was pushed in before means she loses like 100 guaranteed gold right off the bat. Right? And that's it's kind of makes it really hard when looking at it, because you are supposed to rotate to your team when they're fighting. But I think a fight that's like in a place where you can never really impact it, right? Yes, she can get some sort of impact on the end here, right, where she kind of scares them off, you know, maybe dissuades them from ganking, you know, here, like dissuades them from continuing the fight here onto the Vi, onto the nope, Vi is dead anyway, right? Like maybe continue like just like what's the word, like discourages the fight onto the Orianna, but yeah, she does. And like if she can get a kill here, it's really, really good, right? Like if she can manage to instead of ulting here, ulting nothing, like ult the blast plant, potentially, like if she can ult that and then try and hit Sivir on with the ultimate as well, like it's just really hard as well for it to have much impact on this fight. She burns her ultimate for it. And it's a bit of a tough situation here for Sivir, not Sivir, for Xayah, for Corey here. I think it's a little bit of a, it's a weird move, right? And it's one which, like, if your gut feeling said you should move, you should move. But if you look back at it, you're like, yeah, I really shouldn't be moving here, right? Here you just want to push the wave because you want a base, right? You have a little bit of gold in your bag, right? 770. You can pick up your Noon Quiver for what, 300. You can pick up a dagger for 600. I think, yeah, it's a bit of an uncomfortable base here, but this is going to give her exactly enough for Noon Quiver and boots and a dagger. Right, like that's what she should be looking to buy here. Yeah, perfect. That's going to be exactly enough gold. Yeah, 20 gold, perfect. And yeah, that's going to help us a little bit as well with the Rakan as well as the Sivir. The Sivir buying Static Shiv means it's going to be even more guaranteed prior for Sivir. I don't think Static Shiv is a really good item anymore, especially not on Sivir, but it's like Sivir already has tons of wave clear. I don't think you need more from an item, right? That's kind of what I'm getting at. The wave gets pushed in. Zilean is roaming. And Zilean is, I guess, a lot's happening on the other side of the map, right? They're wanting to look to dive Xayah. Xayah has no ult yet, which means she's relatively vulnerable, but I don't think Sivir Rakan with Static Shiv as the item of choice, I don't think they have the damage to pressure the Xayah under the tower, right? So she's just gonna be farming for free. Corey's just gonna be looking to chill out here. Absolutely nothing she can really do apart from take minions as they come to the tower. Right, she's gonna get given a little bit of gold from the Zilean, which is nice. She should look to just pull the feathers back, potentially. No, she does not pull the feathers back. Okay, very nice. The fight comes out here. I think this is good from Corey, right? I think here she's in a little bit of trouble. Very nice route, though. Is potentially going to be able to get out here. Yeah, Zilean's going to die. He uses the ult on himself, which is really bad, because I think this means that Corey's just going to die here as well. Right, like, yeah, Corey's going to die. She does pick up a kill. But the Zilean ult going on to himself is really, really bad, because you really want Xayah to be coming back, not really yourself, right? I think that's kind of the thing here. In terms of this fight, I think it's a really weird fight. Like, yeah, you kind of have to walk up as Xayah here, because your support is being really stupid. But at the same time, like, Sivir has an entire item, whereas we have Noon Quiver. And I don't know if this is, like, ever winning, right? She has her resets, she has her ultimate, like, she has Q as well, which is really good single target damage. Xayah doesn't have the ultimate yet either. It's still 19 seconds away, right? Like, I think this is a really bad fight, like, angle, right? Zilean kind of using the ultimate on himself means that Xayah just has to cut her losses and walk away. There's nothing she can do here anymore, right? Like, yeah, she picks up a kill, but they lose both of them for it, right? Like, if we look here, like, yeah, she picks up the kill on the Rakan, but that's it, right? Like, Sivir gets 2 kills, she loses the wave. Yeah, Xayah gets 1 kill, which she otherwise wouldn't have gotten, for sure. But Sivir also doesn't get 2 kills in that situation. I think Rakan still dies. And so basically what happened is the gold just put on a better person, but Corey misses like a couple minions. She's going to lose a couple more minions as well. And yeah, a bit of a weird situation. I think that you maybe have to kind of fight there, but at the same time, like, I don't think it's a really good fight, right? We're definitely losing out in the trades right now just because of how behind we are. I think at this point, this is an angle where you want to walk towards here if there was something going to happen. So I think this is really good from Corey. Right, if there's Vi can find something that's really good. And then here, Corey's positioning is really nice, walks into the lane, right, kind of taunting them to try and come at them, try and come at her. Zilean is in a little bit of trouble here. Is just going to be helped by Corey to escape, which is nice. Corey has the ultimate now, which means that there is the potential for a fight. Like, there is the potential for an outplay here. Zilean is going to die to like 1 auto attack. Right, like 1 auto attack is going to kill him. Corey is looking to prioritize hitting the Rakan. I think this was a mistake from Corey. I think you don't want to use the ultimate like this. I think that's a really bad usage of the ultimate. Zilean dies to the Sivir bounce. Right, Corey is going to die to the Sivir Q. Like, this is a really weird fight again. Like, yeah, you have the ultimate, but you don't want to be using the ultimate to stop a Rakan knock-up. Like, you shouldn't even be positioning in a way where Rakan can knock you up, right? Like, if we look here at this fight, like, Rakan comes forward, right? He's obviously looking onto the Zilean, right? There's no reason to be hitting Rakan here. You should be looking to hit the Sivir here and looking to burn Spell Shield. Like, this ultimate is fine and all, but then the Spell Shield comes out to block the stun onto Sivir, and I think at this point you just kind of want to run away, but she's running forwards. Like, Zilean ultimate, it doesn't have the ultimate yet, right? Curry ends up dying for it anyway. Like, unfortunate positioning. I think it's a really weird angle for Corey to fight here. Like, it's just a really weird angle. I'm not a massive fan of it. She does end up losing stuff as well. Gives another 2 kills over to Sivir. Like, I think at this point, if you're Corey in this game, like, it's a really hard game, but you kind of just have to, like, not do anything, right? You just have to wait for big team fights to happen, big team fights, like where everyone's involved, where you can actually impact, because in the 2v2 you're really not winning out, like, at all. And I don't know if that was noticed or not, right? Like, yeah, they push out the wave, they're gonna potentially pick up a plate here, gonna be 60 gold going over to Corey. If we look at the gold, yeah, I mean, that's just kind of how the score looks, right? That's just the score difference here. But yeah, we'll have to see how this continues playing out. I think this is much better from Corey, right? You just kind of have to wait. Like, Sivir can never really slow push a wave anymore because of the static shiv, which means she's going to be perma pushing waves if like she hits them, which she obviously wants to. I mean, that's Sivir as a champion, right? Perma push waves. So you should just be. I think Corey should just be waiting here for the wave to come towards her. And in that regard, just, you know, just looking to just chill out, right? Like, yeah, look, the wave is being pushed instantly. Level 9, wave's gone. She can just wait for the wave to get out of the tower. Like, even if she loses the tower, it doesn't really matter, right? Like, it doesn't matter at all. Like, she's trying to fight here, but she's missing out on creeps, right? Like, she's fighting here, a fight that's never going to result in anything, and she's lost 4 creeps for it. 5 creeps for it, for looking to fight here, right? That's like almost 100 gold that she's given away to try and trade into a matchup that's really hard to win if you trade, right? Like, yeah, Sivir's taking a bit of damage, right? But what does it actually do? Because, like, your Zilean's almost dead. You know, Rakan's still full HP. Rakan is the one that's really scary in this matchup because he's the one that's going to knock Xayah up. Xayah doesn't really have any really way of, like, escaping it. Yes, with the ultimate up, she can potentially look to dodge out on the Rakan W, right? But until then, I think it's just a really weird time to be trading, especially when you're in such a bad position in terms of, like, gold-wise, right? And I mean, it's not hard to recognize how far behind we are on gold in terms of, like, 7 and 1 compared to 1 and 3. Static Shiv, BF Sword boots versus 3 components and normal boots instead of upgraded boots, right? Cull being done compared to Cull not being done when we bought it at similar times, right? There's just, like, a lot of reasons how we can know here that this is a really bad gold disadvantage that we're in right now. And like I said, when you're in such a bad advantage, okay, something that people understand, when you're at such a bad gold, like, disadvantage, it's not bad to lose this tower. You actually want to lose this tower, and the reason you want to lose this tower is because you want to be farming here, because this is a lot safer for you. Right here, it's really hard to gank someone standing here. There's no bush over here to get into, there's no, like, walking around here, there's no easy, like, walking straight into the lane, right? Like, whereas here, like, there's no bush to kind of get you if you farm under, like, right over here. Like, there's no, like, bush to easily get access to you. Yeah, they can kind of hide in fog of war here, but you can easily ward over the wall, get the ward pretty much right over here and have vision of everything. Right, that's, like, nice. Like, this is, like, the big danger point for you here, and it's a really easy ward. You can ward it from a very safe space. So it's not bad at all to be losing this. Like, yes, she tries to cancel the base here, which is nice and all. I think it's good. Just buy some time for her team. You know, she's picking up the wave, which is good. Very good positioning of the feathers, right? So it doesn't fuck up this minion for her as well. So that's nice in that regard. But yeah, just kind of chilling here. She probably wants to push this really quickly, right? She has enough gold for the Kraken Slayer in base. Kraken Slayer is going to be nice, helps her trades a little bit more, right? Helps her trade a bit more. She's going to base, get the Kraken Slayer, probably look to finish up boots. No, she can't finish up boots. It's going to be 400 gold for the Kraken, so there's going to be 600 left. And then, yeah, potential dagger and, yeah, maybe a longsword, but, yeah, no, longsword's just out of reach as well. So, yeah, right now, the situation looks relatively dire. Okay, but some kills going over. So the top side of the map looking really solid, right? 4-2 Yone, 4-2 Vi, 3-4 Yasuo. I'm not Yasuo, Orianna. Orianna very, very powerful with the Vi as well. The tower is going to die here. Corey can just look to get some creeps. Like, this is good. This is really good for Corey. This makes her life a lot easier in terms of farming, because their wave's stronger than our wave, it's also really hard for it to hold. So, like, if they kind of ignore it, they lose more minions than we do. Right, that's kind of the reasoning here, that you want this wave to be pushed out. Right, Corey is gonna walk around. He's gonna spot out Rakan here. This ward I think is fine, but this ward is only really good if you want to play like here in the lane. Right, like here in the lane, I think this is a good ward. Outside of playing here, I think it's not a really good ward. Like if you play further, I think you want this to be warded rather. If you play back, I think you want this to be warded rather, right? Like this is only really good for this quadrant here where you play. So you can get kind of vision for when they're looking to play through this bush, right? Obviously they can also walk around the back here, but that's a different story, right? This is a decently good ward. 100 seconds again. I want to see like how is this ward utilized, right? Like wards are very important for preparing what your next play is going to be, right? For her to put the ward here and then look to move into mid lane, this ward is kind of irrelevant, right? People are not going to walk into the lane from here, right? If they're not looking to gank, they're just going to walk down the river into that or down the lane. So if they don't look to play in this little quadrant here, this is a wasted ward. And yeah, as we see, I want to go back, right? I just want to go back, watch how this fight starts. A little bit of dancing going on. We move to the wave to look to get that push, also meet up with the rest of our team. This is really nice from Korea, just moving forward, getting a little bit of damage. I think it's a really good ultimate as well to dodge out on the Rakan ultimate. Gets the fight started, which is really important. And she can start looking to free hit, right? I think she's really free. She's not taking any damage. Yeah, the wind wall is a bit annoying. Very nice dodge from her on that Xayah. I mean, not Xayah. Yasuo tornado. That was really, really nice. If we look here, like I think this is really good, right? She's prioritizing correctly. Then you see the Yasuo walk up, dodges out on the SoloQ, right? Yasuo has the tornado, sidesteps it. I don't know if that should be a sidestep, but we take those. Dodges out on the Rakan W as well. She does end up dying to the Ignite, but a really nice ultimate from the Zilean is going to get her up to full HP. Her being full HP means that this Rift Herald can't charge, also picks up the wave. She can get the wave really easily up and in Prio, right? Like she can just hit the wave here so that the Rift Herald can't get anything. And that's basically a Rift Herald wasted and a kill going over to red side. Right, again, the fight's still going on here. Xayah is still kind of healthy, right? Like, if the fight goes on, she has a lot of ability to do stuff here, right? She doesn't have the ultimate anymore. She does have the cleanse, though, to try and cleanse something, and the flash coming up soon. 1 second. So she has the flash to dodge a spell that could be potentially really big. The fight is running away from her, so she's not as happy anymore. Obviously, Echo W, she doesn't get hit by. So this is nice. Really good fight by Kore. I think for being as far behind as she was, I think she had a lot of impact in this fight. Dodging out on spells and actually getting damage out as well. Like that's the kind of the job of an AD carry, dealing quite a lot of damage as well. Maybe not the most damage, it is just one item Xayah, but it is damage that otherwise she would not have had, right? Dodges out on the Echo W as well. Is going to force the Echo ult. I don't know if that should have been a dodge. That looked like she was in it, I'm not going to lie. Let me check here. Right, like, let me... Really, she dodges that. That's very, very nice. I don't know how I feel about that one, but... You know, a win is a win, right? She's going to have to look to base here. I don't think she can look to stay. She is going to base very good. You know, if you're in a low HP situation, you just want to base, get back out, get some items. She gets 2 long swords, that's 20 AD. That'll help her. If she manages the free hit, that's going to help her a lot in terms of damage. So that's very nice. She's looking to move into the enemy jungle here. It was really good playing with the team. And they have mid-prio. They can potentially look to go play for the Drake. They have Yone here as well. Bit of an ARM going on. I think this is really good movement from her as well. Recognizing what the plan is. Gets the feathers. Yeah, the kill goes over to Vi, but I think that's just fine. Here, it's a bit of a weird fight where they're kind of like split, right? Like, one fight's going on here, one fight's happening here, another one is in the middle, right? So there's 2 fights going on right now. The Pantheon ult comes out behind them. Pantheon is just 2 and 5 though, so not the scariest. Yone is going to die as well, so they're going to look to be chasing the Pantheon. Kore gets a very nice root off here. Very, very nice. Not in any threat. I like this positioning, right? Walking with the team, right? So she's making sure that she can impact every single fight, which is really good for an AD carry to do, right? Here, I think it's really hard to walk in here. She needs the very good ultimate from Kore. Dodges out on the Rakan W as well. Wow. I mean, I don't even know what I'm even watching right now. Flashes forward. Q goes a bit wide. Unfortunate one, I think. Had the Q hit, I think she could have had potentially the pullback as well and potentially get a kill. Sad B, yep. I think here is a bit of a scary one, right? Dodges out on the tornado as well. Wind wall comes out. She's going to walk kind of in. I think this is good. Very good ultimate ultimate from the Zilean. Nice flash from Zilean as well. And that's going to be like a kill to Kore. Very, very nice. Sorry. This is very good. She's walking up again, looking to fight, and again, very nice. Another kill going over to Orianna. And like the game has really quickly turned just off this little these little passages of play here, right? Like these minutes here from about 16:30 up to 20 minutes have been entirely red side favored, and I think this is really good because this is kind of when Xayah gets online. She's gonna get even stronger with the second item coming up. Like this is gonna give her a nice little bit of gold, which she can then use. Like it should be about I don't know 300, yeah, 300 gold. So that's very nice. About a kill's worth of gold. She has 2k here. It's not quite enough to finish up the Navori, but it should be enough to pick up the Caulfields and a BF sword here. So that's going to be really, really nice. So she's also really, really strong now. Like, yes, Sivir's 2 items, but I think that Corey's having a lot more impact with the Xayah here. Also, being in the fights as she is really, really good, right? She's actually making sure that in a fight she isn't being a liability. Very nice mechanics as well to dodge out on quite a lot of the spells, right? It feels like there's not much hitting her either, which is really, really good. So yeah, she's pathing top here. I don't think this is very good, right? Obviously, you want to be in mid here with the Zilean. I don't think you want to be matching the Pantheon at all. Like, yeah, Vi's top here, which can be quite nice. But yeah, I don't think you want to be top. In top lane here, you have 0 impact on fights, right? Like here we see Vi kind of chasing Pantheon. I think as Corey, she should be looking to walk down here, and she should be farming the creeps about here rather than back here. Just to try and assist in case something happens, right? In case the Echo shows up, or in case someone else shows up, or if Pantheon decides that this is a fight angle, right? I think that's kind of why you'd want that to be happening. Yasuo winning out in the bot lane, a bit unfortunate, beating up the Yone. Yasuo still being bot means Corey is a level up on Sivir right now, which is pretty cool. I think that's got something to do with the Zilean potentially as well, also solo XP as well. I think Corey isn't that scared to chase down Sivir right now. Like I think Corey is a lot stronger than the Sivir, even if it is 2-item Sivir. Very good insta cleanse from Corey. She's in a bit of a weak spot here. She is going to die, gets a very nice root. Unfortunately, she isn't going to kill the Rakan. But yeah, in terms of where she is positioning this fight, like if we look where the fight is actually in regards to like where she's standing, like the fight is taking place here and you want to be in the back, right? Here she's kind of being flanked, right? If she walks in here, she gets flanked by the Sivir and potentially also like we saw the Pantheon, but I don't think with the Pantheon is something you can expect just quite. Very nice insta charm into ultimate, but the ultimate I think is going the wrong way. In this fight, right? I think the ultimate should more be going downwards to try and hit the Sivir. But I mean, yeah, that's just being really nitpicky, right? Like, if the ult goes down here, like towards this thing, she's obviously going to pick up the Sivir with it, right? Yes, the Sivir can maybe spell shield, but I think Corey can also look to kind of hold her pull back for when the Sivir spell shield is done. But yeah, she is going to die. It is going to be a shutdown, which is crazy considering Corey is 3-3 compared to, you know, 8-3. But yeah, in terms of the fight, it still looks relatively red side favored. More numbers committed by blue side is going to mean that it's going to be more favored towards blue side. Numbers are catching up here though for red side. So that's going to be that. Sombrero goes out there. We're going to wait for Corey to come back and see where she walks. Right, so she walks mid, which I think is good. This is kind of where you want to be as the AD carry. Also, there's a fight going on here which she can look to help. Doesn't dodge out on that ultimate, but I don't think it matters that much. The kill on the Yasuo goes through. Corey can pick up the Prio in mid lane here, which is very nice. And then they can look to do something else, right? I think here she's in a bit of a vulnerable position, considering she doesn't have any sums or any ultimate. So she doesn't dodge out on the Rakan W. She's going to dodge out on the Echo W as well. And she is going to die, though, unfortunately. She's going to be run down in this game. So in that case... So yeah, in terms of this positioning, right, I think there's absolutely, I mean, I've said it before, right, I mean, I've said it, like, there's no reason to be standing here, right, like, over here, there's absolutely no reason to be here. Your jungler's on wolves, you know, your Yone is going top, your mid laner's basing, like, you have Zilean here, but Zilean has proven to be not so reliable, right, and you're playing against, like, yeah, she sidesteps us really nicely, you know, she gets out of the Echo W as well, right, but I think it's still, there's no reason for her to be here this far up, and that's going to be why she dies here. Going to wait for her to come back up. Yeah. She's going to walk mid once again. She's going to change over and go towards the bot lane. Like, I think this is fine, but I don't think, like, you don't want your AD carry to be in the side lane. unless you have like a really good dueling AD carry. Technically, Xayah is a really good dueling AD carry, but for her to be a really good dueling AD carry, she has to expend her ultimate. And if she expends her ultimate, she isn't a very good teamfight AD carry anymore, because she doesn't have that safety in if she gets dove on, which is what people want to do, right? They obviously want to be diving onto the Xayah, onto the AD carry. So she is going to look to push the bot wave. I think this is really good. She can get prior here in the bot lane for the dragon. Now, this is really nice. -1, not something you want, but it's fine. She's going to walk up to dragon. This is really good. Right, they don't necessarily have vision of the Baron, so technically they could be on the Baron, but Yone is up there, so I think they're relatively safe. Also, knowing that Yasuo's top probably helps a lot with that fact. Corey's going to move towards the mid lane, going to clear the mid lane. Like, they're obviously looking to play for the Baron here as well, or potentially look to go collapse top. But I think they should just be looking to start up the Baron if they're looking to do so. I think Corey here walks back into the lane. I think this is really fine. She's got the Navori. She's really, really strong right now, especially with her ultimate up as well. Very nice ultimate from her to dodge the Rakan, right? I think she's in a little bit of an uncomfortable position here, but that's just because of them committing 4 people to the mid lane. Like, we kill 1 in top lane. It is a 1-for-1 though up here in the top lane, which is really not very good for red side, right? Trading 2-for-1 in a position like this. Corey here just has to base. Right, as Corey in this position, you just have to base. You're very low. You can't really defend anything. They can probably just look to run you down. I think there's absolutely no reason to stay here. If you're going to be pushing off anyway, there's absolutely no reason to be here, right? Like, she's just walking kind of far back. I don't think you have to base all the way here. I think you can look to base on under the tower here. She looks to stay, however. You're going to have to dodge that one. Does dodge it. But because she stayed, that's more time that she's wasted, right? Like, she cannot be contesting here without HP. So a bit of wasted time from Corey. Bit... Like, we've spoken about it before as well, so just something for her to keep thinking about going forward, right? It's just about how she's utilizing her time. Vi is looking like she's going to escape. Xayah is going to look to pick up the wave here. I think it's really good for Corey to pick up the wave. I think the wave is like most important thing right now. Just getting some gold, right? Because she's not getting kills. So picking up any gold whatsoever is very, very big value for her. I think she should be looking to play on this wave a lot more, right? Like, this isn't very deep in general. I think that this isn't very deep, and so I think it's not that bad to look to play here. I think she can play her. This should never go over to Orianna. I think, unfortunately, I think this should be taken by Corey, but it's totally fine. She has enough for the last Whisper in base, which means she should probably look to base here. Because if you're behind, like if we look here, she's very far behind the Sivir. When you're behind, you want to be spending every single gold as you get it. So as soon as she can pick up the last Whisper, I think she wants to be picking it up. But yeah, Corey just going to be hanging around right now. Baron is probably the next objective that they want to play for. Right, it's Drake is only 2.5 minutes. They're probably not wanting to wait that long. We can see a lot of numbers committed into the mid lane. We have to be very careful here as red team. Right, we see 4 in mid lane. We don't know where Echo is, but Echo is probably going to be hanging around the team. Probably not looking to play side lane. Very nice engage from Vi. Corey looking to have some impact here. Jumps forward. Very good. Gets charmed. A bit of a late cleanse this time from Corey, but they do manage to pick up the kill onto the Echo. Vi in a little bit of trouble as well, but Corey is just kind of hitting really, really hard there. I mean, this is really nice from Corey, right? If we watch Corey, a bit late on the cleanse, right? Like, if we look here, kind of half the charm has gone through before the cleanse comes out. The ult comes out in order to dodge the Yasuo, and this is really nice positioning here to get kind of past this wind wall. Right, look at that little gap that she gets through here to actually impact this fight. Picks up the kill on the Yasuo. Gets the wave as well, and that's going to be able to. They're going to be able to look to play for the Baron here. Obviously, 2 items Xayah, absolute monster at picking up Baron. Orianna, monster at it too. 3 item Vi, really good at it. 3 item Yone, really, really good at it too. So yeah, it's all about Xayah specifically, though, very, very good at taking her, right? She can just use her spells, draw back the feathers, and then it's like a lot of damage, right? If she does choose to, like 1,000, bit more than 1,000-ish damage on every drawback with feathers. So very nice from her. She's just looked to base here. She probably has not quite enough. She doesn't have enough for the full Lodoms, but she can pick up Last Whisper and Crit Cloak here, which is nice. And then she's missing, yeah, 400 gold for the, 'Lord, 'Doms. Rakan spamming Pantheon, which is really funny. Still spamming, maybe a little bit tilted there. Corey should probably be moving a bit back here to try and buff up her minions while they walk. But yeah, it's very good. Also again in mid lane, next objective is probably the Drake, coming up in 50 seconds. Right, so they can also look to be playing for that if they choose to. Or if they can look to make a fight. Corey walking forward here, very brave, but they do see 2 on the wave, so she probably doesn't feel too scared to walk in. Right. I don't know about we do know about the control ward, so that's very nice. Echo W comes out. This I think Corey here is on the wrong side of the fight, right? Like if we look here at the positioning here, so Corey here in the front line is really bad, but if we look at how the team's moving, they're kind of all moving towards the bot side. They're like migrating here, which means that the front line's probably going to be here, which means Corey probably wants to be coming in behind them. So her being here doesn't really do much in terms of her damage output, right? You don't want to be playing front line. And so in a situation like this, like if we look how the team's positioned, right? Her team is here. She wants to be behind. Like if these two are swapped, like if Zilean was standing with Xayah standing and Xayah standing with Zilean standing, that's really good. But because of the fact that they kind of walk into the pit here, Corey has to walk like around the back here, which means that she loses out on damage. Eventually the team kind of recognizes what's happening and she can move forward again. So a bit of weird positioning at the start to be in this place instead of behind the team. But yeah, they lose mid prio unfortunately. Yone is just going to pick up the bot inhib kind of for free. Doesn't look like we much care about the mid wave, right? They're just going to pick up the next one at the tower, deal with this one, right? So yeah, bit of trading going on here. Corey just having that little bit of just getting that mid prio really easily, right? If there isn't a way for Sivir to hit, it becomes really hard. So Orianna's doing a lot of damage. Right, the fact that Yone dies here is a bit scary, right? Because it means that there's going to be a numbers disadvantage, and it means that we're going to have to play mechanically better if we do choose to fight, right? So yeah, we do have Vi heading on over to the Drake. That shouldn't going to be the third Drake. We know about the Yasuo here, and the one thing we have to be very careful of is Yasuo Tornado, but Yasuo does die. Very nice from Corey and the rest to kill him there. That evens out the numbers, which is going to be very nice. Corey here looking to push out the wave once again. Obviously looking to try and start hitting. I can see from the way she's positioning here, which is really good. She wants to hit. There isn't really anyone to block her from hitting, right? Like there's no big tank to kind of stop her. You know, Yasuo's dead, which is kind of the biggest threat, right? Echo very easy to block with the ultimate, so not the scariest person compared to Yasuo, who can just wind wall and then jump at you and then knock you up and, you know, kill you. So this is very good. Yep, Corey is just going to be hitting. Is just going to look to pick up those kills. Doesn't really help with the Sivir, but the pressure is still there. So very nice from Corey. I think she's positioning really, very well in these team fights, right? Having a lot of pressure. She is staying here to help buff up the minions. Looking to stay. I think she probably wants the base and pick up the low doms, but they are going to look to pick up the inhibitor here as they can. So yeah, inhibitor going to be taken by red side. 2 inhibs down. And Corey probably wants to look to base here, pick up the low doms, and then potentially pick up like a BF sword. If she waits 30 more gold, she'll have enough for the BF sword as well. That builds into... oh no, it's not BF sword, it's pickaxe that builds into Immortal Shield Bow. She probably wants that, so it's probably like a Vamp Scepter, yeah, Vamp Scepter for the Immortal Shield Bow to come out. So very nice. I think that red team should be waiting, just wait for Corey here. Corey is beelining it straight into the fight here. Fight kind of starts without her though, which is a little bit bad, but Rakan does manage to walk right in to start getting free hitted. And yeah, Corey doesn't really have to do much. Fight's just kind of over before she has the ability to do much, and it is going to be a win. So just some things that I want to talk about here in regards to Corey's game. Okay, so some of the things I want to say. Laning phase, like I think it's really quick. You're really quick to notice whether your trades are winning or not. Right, as an AD carry, right? You start hitting and you're like, wait, I'm hitting like a pebble and they're hitting like a stone, right? Like you can obviously see the difference there in terms of like how much damage you're doing. When you start losing trades really, really badly, you don't want to be taking trades anymore. Like that isn't a priority for you at all. Okay, you just want to be making sure you're farming gold. Okay, like yes, they're also farming gold, so if they're 300 gold ahead, if you each get waves, she'll still be 300 gold ahead. But it's much better for like your opponent to be 300 gold ahead than you try and trade, take a really bad trade, have to base, and then she gets 2 waves when you get 1. Now you're 400 gold behind. But let's say a trade goes really bad and you die, now you're 700 gold behind, and a wave down, 800 gold. right? So all these sort of things you want to be avoiding as much as possible. And if you see that your trades are bad, you don't want to trade. Okay, you want to be waiting for like your team fights, where even if you're behind, any damage you do is worth a lot, right? That's kind of what you want to be looking to do here, right? Like, get your gold, make sure you're picking up all the gold you can be in the stage where you're weak, right? Because like Sivir, for example, is never going to be able to really pressure you off CS when you're on the tower, right? She can hit the wave. If you stay away from the wave, she's going to kill the wave. The wave's going to come at a tower. You're going to be able to free hit it, like free farm it, because you know it's easy to farm on the tower once you know how to do it. And then in the team fight, you can have the exact same impact, just you won't be as far behind as you were, right? I think you were like at the start of the team fights, let's say like 14 minutes or so. You're 1-3 compared to 7-1, right? At this point, like, she shouldn't have to be 7-1 at this point, right? Like, I think we can recognize really early that trades aren't good. Like, your level 1 or level 2 is fine, right? You ask them questions in their trading, like, are you going to fight back or are you going to like roll over? And if the answer is I'm going to roll over, you can dominate the lane. If they're going to fight back and they actually win the fighting back, you're like, okay, fair play, I understand, you win, cool. Let me just chill out, okay? Until you can trade every now and then, right? You can trade for sure, right? Like, absolutely trade. Am I winning the trade? No, okay, I don't trade anymore right now. Okay, I need to wait for my next spike, right? Like, okay, let's play for like the Noon Quiver. Let's try again on Noon Quiver. Let's try again on Kraken Slayer. Let's try again on Navori, right? Like, all these things you have to be asking yourself. But like, don't just trade for no reason when you know it's losing trades, right? Like, there's absolutely no need to. Like, like for example, like where can I, like, I don't remember exact times where there was trading going on, so that's a bit hard. But like here, like, I don't think we should necessarily be looking to trade, especially when we don't have our ultimate. Like, once the ultimate's up, I think we can look to trade a bit more. But at the same time, like, this is a BF Sword Static Shiv Sivir versus, like, again, components Xayah, right? So it's like really hard for Xayah to be winning this. So recognizing this state of the game and being like, you know what, let me just pick up gold where I can. Okay, and then look to play later. I think the team fights were really, really good. Some really, like, some weird positioning where it felt like you were kind of playing frontline, which is like weird. Like, positioning in team fights, you have to be behind someone who's gonna like take first contact. As AD carry, you don't really want to be first contact, right? You don't want to be the person to start off the fight or be the fight started off of, right? Even though you are the Xayah, it's still not very good for you to be standing in the front. Times we went to the side lane, which was a bit unconventional, but fine. You know, you pick up some gold there, pick up a little bit of gold, you know, kind of discourage the enemy Pantheon. It was mostly you went to bot match Pantheon, discourage the enemy Pantheon from pushing the tower, right, and getting some more gold for themselves. So that was fine. Obviously, the one case where you were in like the middle of the lane, right, like over here, and you died kind of there-ish. That's obviously being just really overextended. But in general, I thought it was really good. I think this is a really hard game because if you don't have a support that's, you know, on and like actively looking to win the game in terms of the laning phase, I think it's really hard to play laning phase as an AD carry. Like, especially if your support's roaming a lot compared to enemy support kind of staying in the lane mostly, right? I think it's really hard to look at laning phase. So what I can say is, in this specific game, if you recognize this is your situation, yeah, like I said, pick up the gold where you can, play for the later team fights where you do excel as a player, right? I think you excelled really, really heavily in those team fights. Very nice mechanics as well from what I saw. So that's what I would say mostly about Kore. But yeah, that's pretty much, yo, we are winning. How are you doing, Mihaitzen? How are you doing? How are you doing? We are winning. We are winning. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I had planned for this review specifically, right? Looking at Kore, looking at timeout, was a very good win by Kore. I'm happy she got it. As for timeout, lots of things to learn in regards to the top lane. Or sorry, no spectator. That's what is more known as if you're looking at IGN. Hey, Summoner's Rift is like really beautiful. Look at this. It's really cool. Look at these rivers. But yeah, anyway. That's pretty much, yes, I do know that this is deadline. I absolutely do know it. I spoke about it yesterday when you followed me. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had planned for this review specifically. So I'd like to say thank you to everyone who watched. I hope that everyone could learn something from the review. Obviously, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to DM me on Discord as well, if you'd like, or come join the stream tomorrow at around about the same time, in order to watch the stream and ask questions live, right? One last thing I want to say before I close it out: if any of you guys do want me to review any of your SoloQ, or if you have a VOD that you've got recorded, please feel free to send it to me. I would happily review anyone who does ask. I'd love to help. And yeah, that pretty much sums up everything I had. It isn't deadline? That's what? Really? That's crazy. But yeah, that pretty much sums up everything I had planned for today. I hope everyone enjoyed the stream. Yes, we are going to review scrims. Yes, that's pretty much all I had for the plan for the stream, and I will chat to everyone another time. Have a good day, guys. See ya.